This is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Now, y'all, what I am seeing is that there seems to be at least some pressure or pride. Well, y'all, one thing that I'm seeing in the media is that there seems to be a need by some for Black people to mourn the death of Charlie Kirk. Now, they went from almost blaming it on Black people to now expecting Black people to mourn a person who had no respect for Black people and definitely would not have mourned any Black person that died, however way they died. But now the world needs to be in mourning over Charlie Kirk, who was not a religious leader. He was not an elected official. He was not anybody that a lot of Black people didn't even know who he was. But now there are Black people who have come out to say that what happened to him was wrong. And I think it was wrong. I don't think that you do that. But since I didn't do it, and since nobody I cared about did it, and nobody in my race did it, and since I did not agree with his political ideology, I don't see why anybody that thinks like me should be expected to mourn him. I would never support anybody doing something like what was done to Charlie Kirk. I would not support it, and I absolutely would not celebrate it. But the way I think about it is that I'm neutral. He is not a family member. He's not a friend of the family. He's not a national leader. And he had a lot of things to say about Black people that I found offensive. For instance, he said, Black women like Joy Reid, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Michelle Obama used affirmative action because they do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. So they had to steal a white person's place. So he has taken Black women who are highly accomplished in journalism, in law, in politics, and saying that they didn't have the brain processing power. In other words, they're not smart enough to be taken seriously, and that they took some white person's slot. This is a biased, and I would even say a racist opinion, and it attempts to discredit and diminish the intelligence of these Black women. And if he said this about these Black women, he would say it about other Black women. And for somebody who reportedly dropped out of community college to say something like this is absurd. Absurd and racist. And speaking of Black people not mourning Charlie Kirk, I came across a video on TikTok where someone was asking young white college students what they thought about him being killed. And one of them said it was good. The other one said he had no feelings about it. And one of them said, well, somebody had to do it. And then he asked one of the students, well, if you could, reverse time with a magic wand and have him not be killed, would you do it? She said no. These were white students. Now, the fact that white people still don't want to acknowledge that there were many white people that did not like Charlie Kirk, instead of letting that sit and then trying to communicate with those white people as to why they didn't like him, they're going around almost trying to guilt certain Black people into saying that they respected him and that they're mourning for him. Now, of course, they know which Black people to pick to do that, but I think it's unfair to ask any Black people to even comment about Charlie Kirk's death, given how he felt about Black people and his ideology concerning Black people. When Black people are tragically killed or just die, Black people don't run white people down to ask them what they think or how they feel about it, or try to, coerce them into showing some type of condolences or sympathy. Black people don't do that because Black people pretty much know that they don't care. And they certainly don't feel any sorrow or sympathy for the black family. So I think that white people should react the same way. They shouldn't be asking black people how they feel about any white person that dies, because we are two different races of people and we really haven't gotten along that well in these 400 and something years to be expecting somebody to grieve with you when somebody dies in your family. We certainly don't have that expectation of them. Now, I saw this poster on Facebook. This is Charlie Kirk in the background, and then the actor, The Rock, and his daughter. And his daughter had something she wanted to say about it. She said, if you want people to have kind words when you pass, you should say kind words while you're alive. Ava Rain to Charlie Kirk. Now, that makes all the sense in the world to me. And that reminds me of the Charles Dickens classic, A Christmas Carol. In A Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge, who is at least as horrible a person as Charlie Kirk, had a visitation of three ghosts. His partner had died 7 years earlier, and he came back and warned Ebenezer Scrooge about being a horrible person, stingy, with no sympathy for other people, looking down on poor people, and not even willing to acknowledge family members. So he was visited by three ghosts. If y'all don't know the story, you need to cut it off now, because I'm getting ready to tell you what happened. The ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas to come. So I'm just going to talk about the ghost of Christmas to come. So the ghost of Christmas to come showed Ebenezer Scrooge himself dead. And what he saw was that people did not give a damn about him. His business partners were laughing when they found out he had died. And one of them asked the other one if he was going to go to the funeral. And he said, I'm only going to go if they're going to feed me, because I'm not going to waste my time going there otherwise. And then the woman that cleaned his house stole his bed curtains, his watch, his silver, and everything valuable that she could, and took it to a pawnbroker. And the pawnbroker asked her where she had got the stuff. And she told him, this man had died. And basically she robbed him. And he said something to the effect that you ought to be ashamed of yourself robbing a dead man. And she said if he had wanted somebody to care about him when he was dead, he should have been more natural in life. So this is basically what the Rock's daughter is saying. If you want somebody to care about you when you're dead, then you need to care about people when you're alive. So I'm going to end with this. I don't think it's fair to celebrate anybody's death, because all of us have to go that way. We're all going that way. But this is an opportunity to reflect on your life and to examine how you're living your life and how you're treating people, how you're treating the fortunate and the unfortunate. Because if you want people to care about you when you're dead, then you should care about them when you're alive. And nobody should be twisting anybody else's arm or punishing somebody for not mourning somebody who had no compassion or love for those people when he was alive. Now, y'all let me know what you think about this video. Thank you for listening and have a good day.